Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're having a really great day. Today is a video that I've been putting off making because it's one that I wanted to talk about for a long time. I feel very passionately about it and I think it's something that is one of the biggest grey areas of the entire music industry when it really shouldn't be. And it's also one of the most hotly argued things, I think. People don't actually know how much they should be being paid. People don't know how much they should be paying. And I'm actually going to do another video which is solely on how to book musicians. So if you are somebody who is maybe thinking about booking a string quartet for your wedding and you don't know whether to go down, the agency route, the contacting a string quartet directly, all of that, there is another video on that coming, so hang tight. This video is going to be primarily directed at musicians themselves. Anything I say in this video are my own opinions. I don't want anybody to think that I am judging anybody who operates differently. For me, these are the rules that I work by and the ones that I find work for me the best, suit me the best, and that I am the most comfortable with. So disclaimer out of the way, let's dive in because like I said, I do really believe that this is a very important topic. People always use the example of you wouldn't ask a plumber to work for free, so why would you ask a musician? And I actually quite like this example because I think it makes it very black and white. This can be such a convoluted area, and I think we do need to just kind of set these in place to protect ourselves and to protect each other as well. Primarily, this is about wanting the best working conditions for everybody involved and making sure that everybody is on an even footing. Obviously, at the moment, all of our work has been completely turned on its head. So you may be saying, like, why are you talking about this now? Because none of us are working anyway, so it doesn't matter how much we'd be paid. But I want to talk about this now because we have a fresh start coming up. And I want to be going into that very clear of my own principles and my own worth and what I want to market myself as a player. So I would love to get you guys thinking about this as well. And also because at the moment, things are really different. For example, I went on a couple of podcasts a few weeks ago. Now those were completely unpaid, which is something that I kind of want to put out there because I know people might be a little bit like, oh, you're talking about you should be being paid. But the reason I said yes to those was A, I'm not a professional podcaster. It was a new thing for me, so I wouldn't particularly feel comfortable insisting on being paid for those things. They were also really good fun and good chats, and they were opportunities for me to cement contacts and to get my name out there amongst people who otherwise would never have heard it. So for me, it didn't cost me anything to do and I didn't have to cancel any work to go on them. So for me, they were very much worth doing. And also, like I said, just some fun. And I'll get on to doing things just for fun in a little bit. When it comes to unpaid playing work, and I call it work, I'm going to try not to say opportunities because that is a word that has a whole host of problems associated with it. But when it comes to unpaid playing work, you do have to weigh things up. When I first started out, when I first graduated from college, I had a rule that if a gig didn't cost me money to do, so as long as I would break even from the fee being paid me, maybe it wasn't a very good fee, or maybe they'd pay my travel and they'd pay for some food, or we were, given food, then I would take the gig because it was a good chance for me to network. And again, like I keep saying, getting my name out there and also getting experience of playing in lots of different ensembles, lots of different venues, lots of different repertoire, all of that kind of stuff. As long as it didn't cost me money, it was worth my time. Now, it's worth saying at this point that I no longer do that. If the fee is not appropriate, and by appropriate, I mean MU rates, which I will leave a link to them below, then there is very little chance that I will take the work. That's just because I now have confidence in my experience and my CV that it will be received well and that I can pitch to more well-known orchestras and a better quality of work. I'm confident now that I can get that work, so that's what I'm going to gear myself towards. It's also what I want to be doing more of, and that is very, very important. Do you want to be doing more of the everybody just get together and have a fun time gigs? Or do you want to be doing patches of work with orchestras where you're heading off somewhere for a week or two and really getting into the music and then performing it at the end, which comes with a much higher pay packet, but much more pressure, much more stress, and it's just one of those things where you do need to balance up. What do you want to do more of? And then pitch yourself towards those things. I also started to pick up, and this was about a year to 2 years ago, from various fixers and different players that I worked with, that people who often accept unpaid work unfortunately start to slightly cheapen their reputation. It's unfortunate, but it is true. And it means that they are less likely then to be booked for well-paid work. It's worth bearing in mind, like I was saying earlier, what do you want to market yourself towards? And whatever that is, that's fine, but you need to be clear of what that is in your head, because your reputation is everything. What people know you for is really, really important. Now, obviously, people do still get in contact with offers of work where the pay is either non-existent or very, very minimal. And when that happens, I do have just a bit of a checklist that I run through to weigh up whether it's worth it or not for me. If anyone is being paid, if the MD is being paid, if the soloists are being paid, if the theatre staff are being paid, conductor is being paid, maybe the leader is being paid, everyone should be being paid. Blanket rule, it is unacceptable to just pay certain people and not everybody in my book. It's one of my biggest bugbears. It's something that I've discovered that has happened at gigs that I've done in the past. It's just unacceptable. Don't stand for it. And for me, that is something which is just an immediate no if I find out that that is the case. If it's only going to take like an hour or two, then it's very likely that I would be able to accept other work on that day. They're probably more likely to be a little bit flexible with timings, and so therefore I might be slightly more willing to accept a lower fee than I normally would, because it's just an hour, so it'll probably be something quite fun to pass the time. If somebody gets in contact with me and they want me to do some unpaid work, but it's on a Saturday, again, very low chance that I'll say yes, just because that's a freelancer's busiest day of the week. It is likely that I will get paid work offered to me on that day. So if somebody does ask me to do something, chances are I'll probably say, if paid work comes up, I'm gonna accept that. Sorry, but this is my job. I need to prioritize actually making a living occasionally, unfortunately. If I'm going to have to spend hours travelling to the venue, then absolutely not. It's an added expense that falls on my shoulders, not to mention the wear and tear on my car and just the added stress and strain, and you know, travelling's tiring. So if it's hours and hours away, then sorry, but probably not. I have absolutely said yes to unpaid gigs if they're with really good friends of mine, the rep's fun to play, maybe it's for a really good cause that I feel passionately about and I want to support. And the reason for that is that it all just adds up to a really enjoyable day, which is always a win in my book. And sometimes it is nice just to be able to relax, play, have fun, and have less pressure on your shoulders. I hope that that's been helpful when you are considering whether to accept unpaid work or not. It is something that is really highly individual, but again, I think it's something that people just don't talk about because they don't want to admit that they take unpaid work, or they don't want to come across like they're being snobby about it, and I really hope that hasn't been the case here. Like I said, if you're not a professional musician, if you are a very good amateur who likes doing all of these things, then absolutely go for it. But if you are a professional musician, then just know your worth. You are such a highly, highly skilled individual. This job is hard. Getting here is hard, and the amount of work that you have to put in deserves some recognition. And for me, that's the thing that I'm really passionate about, because don't cheapen your skill. So many people wish that they could do what you do. Own that and be confident in the fact that if you say to people, this is my job, I'm sorry, but you're going to need to pay me, they shouldn't be shocked by that. So many people, without even realizing it, expect musicians to work for incredible incredibly low rates that often come out at far below the minimum wage, let alone MU rates and the standard pay for a professional musician. And then they're shocked when they hear just how much a string quartet actually costs, and the simple fact is that they don't understand the reasons behind those fees. And like I said, I'm gonna do a separate video on actually booking musicians, but it's just worth knowing that as a musician, having those conversations, do have a little bit of grace, but also just be very firm but kind in your explanation of why you're charging that amount, why it's important, and why you're not going to ask your friends to work for next to nothing. There is so much more I could say on this subject, but I don't want it to come across as snobby or entitled or anything like that, so I really hope that hasn't been the case. Please do like this video and subscribe to my channel if you would like to see more videos from me. I upload every Wednesday at 11 AM and it would be lovely to see you again. So have a great week, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye. So peas. I like peas. I particularly enjoy fresh ones rather than frozen. A little fact about me. Parameters in bass. In bass? Parameters in bass is not a thing. In no way should they be categorizings. Completely forgotten the word.